Hey guys, Movie Junkie for Life here again, and this is going to be my review of The Beguiled. And this one is directed by Sofia Coppola and stars Colin Farrell, Nicole Kidman, Kirsten Dunst, Elle Fanning, and a slew of other young actresses. So The Beguiled tells the story of a school in the South during, I think like about 1845, 46, somewhere around there, early years of the Civil War. And there are some young women that are staying at this school because they don't really have anywhere else to go. And one day, one of them happened upon this wounded soldier who happens to be a Yankee, as they would put it. And they take him in, and the consequences of that is what we see unfold. So what did I think of The Beguiled? Now, this is a movie I've wanted to see for a while now, not just because of the content of the movie, it's not so much of that, but the fact that with all the blockbusters we've gotten this year, and I feel like that's all I've been seeing from like months now, you know, nothing's wrong with that, and they've mostly been good. It's just that sometimes you feel burnt out, and I like watching these smaller character-driven films to kind of, you know, get myself back into that even tone of thinking. Because, you know, I go to see movies not so much for realism, but for emotional impact and escapism, and that's what I get out of it. So with The Beguiled, did I get those things? And first of all, let me talk about visually what I liked about this movie. This movie, I've never been to the South of America, but this movie looks very authentic. And one of the things I noticed off the bat was the lighting in this movie. Everything seems like it actually is lit by candlelight, and I really dug that. It was something that I don't know, stood out is the right term for me, but I appreciated it. I noticed how as the day goes into night, how muted the tones get. I'm not sure how she pulled it off, but it really looked like this film was lit with natural lighting, if that's what they did. And it added to the level of authenticity to the period that this film was shot in. So I really dug that. The costumes generally seem on point. The look of the film, the look of the actors and actresses, I have to say actor and actresses because there are not that many male actors in this movie, Colin Farrell being the main one. And I guess that would bring me to the acting of this movie, which I think is on point. This movie is definitely character driven as opposed to story driven, because the story here is not so much the focus of, like you would think it would be, the Civil War and the events that are going on there. And I know there has been some backlash on this film because the original film, the one that starred Clint Eastwood, did have a black actress in it who had a pivotal role to play in this movie. And of course the Civil War was the fight between the North and the South to abolish slavery and so forth. So because Sofia Coppola chose not to focus on that here, there have been some people that, you know, there has been some backlash off of that. But that was not a problem for me because the story here is not really about that. The story is about these young women and the way they are living. They're almost alienated from everything that's going on around them. And then you put into that situation a man, somebody who, a male figure that has not been in their lives in any way. They each have fathers and whatever, but they haven't seen them in ages. And I thought each actress and the actor Colin Farrell, I love Colin Farrell, by the way. I think his work has just gotten stronger over time, and he does a really good job here. By the name of the movie being The Beguiled, you're not sure who is being conned and who's doing the conning as this movie goes along. Everybody has their own agenda. Everybody has their own desires. And I think everybody represented that really, really well. For instance, Elle Fanning's character is all about the sexual side of, you know, the female form. You know, she is very much at that point in her life where she wants to be a sexual creature and she wants to, you know, feel those feelings. And, you know, here's Colin Farrell for her to practice on. And then you have Kirsten Dunst's character, who's almost not so much a spinster, but someone who felt like she has missed an opportunity to find love in her life. and now that opportunity has presented itself again. You have Nicole Kidman's character. She's a strong woman who seems like she's, you know, infallible, and yet there is also a vulnerability to her at certain points in time, and there is that need for companionship, and there's that loneliness that is there even though she's surrounded by these girls. So everybody does a really good job of showing those aspects. Even there's a young actress here, I can't remember her name right now, but I do know her face from movies like Bad Moms and that sort of thing, and her character's connection is this father figure. You know, that's what she finds in I think his name is John, and Colin Farrell's character is this father figure. And then we have Colin Farrell, who he's a man who is basically not just in the wrong area of the United States, he's in a different country because he's not from the United States, he's actually from Ireland, his character. So we have him being this complete fish out of water, doing what he has to survive, saying what he has to survive. And I thought he does a really good job of coming across not so much as a con man. I didn't really get that alone from him. I felt like his character was also a person, he's trying to survive. So he's saying what he has to say to these women so that they won't turn him over to the southern soldiers. So there's a lot of that survival going on. So you have, you know, different aspects of feminism going on and all these sorts of things. So I really think the acting is what drives this movie and not so much the story. We have a really strong bunch of actors involved here. I think Sofia Coppola does a great job visually with this film. My only real problem with this movie is that the final act feels to me a bit thin. I don't know, it just felt like everything just came to an abrupt halt, and maybe that was all the story that she wanted to tell, but it just felt very, it fell flat for me, the way everything ended, you know. I'm not sure exactly what they could have done to flesh it out. It just felt like it happened too quickly. The conclusion just kind of was very abrupt, and the way it ended, I don't know, something about it didn't mesh well for me. I also think this is not a story that a lot of people are going to be able to connect with, may not be interested in, and because of that, I don't see mainstream audiences really enjoying this movie. But overall, The Beguiled is a solid film. It's well directed, it's well acted, and I for one enjoyed that aspect of it. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's been in cinemas for a while now, so I caught it late. I've been wanting to check it out for a couple weeks now, and I just got some vacation time, so I decided to go and watch it, and I think it's really well done for what it is. So The Beguiled gets a 6.5 out of 10. And that's gonna be it for me, guys. So till next time, bye bye.